Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to introduce Professor Carlos Guzmán Jiménez. Professor Guzmán Jiménez completed his doctorate under the supervision of Luis Farah. He has a strong research record with over 5,070 citations and a GA index of 12 on Google Scholar. He holds a CNPq level 1C research production fellowship. He is current professor adjunct of Federal Fluminense University. Today, he will give a talk entitled The Scattering Conjecture for Nonlinear Schrödinger Equation. Welcome, Professor Guzmán. You can start.
Well, thank you, Juan. Thank you for the introduction. So I would like to thank all the organizers of this seminar. I would like to, it's the second time to participate in this nice seminar. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about the conjecture for the nonlinear Schrödinger equation. So the conjecture is the following. If you have one solution about the nonlinear Schrödinger equation, the natural question is, what happened with the solution with t goes to infinity? Is the question, right? In this opportunity, I will talk about the history about this conjecture. I will present the history of the first results, Koenig and Merlin, up the new results of this year, right? So I would like to thank the financial support, the CAPES, the CNPq, and FAPERJ for the support for my research. So we divide my talk in three parts. The first part, I will talk about the motivation in the problem, the Cauchy problem of the nonlinear Schrödinger equation in the critical case. After that, I will talk about the conjecture, the statement in new results. And after that, I will present new results about the conjecture, right? I will present the history of this conjecture. The first result was proven in 26. After that, we obtained another results in 2010. After that, we have a new results in 2019, and recently in this year, we have new results about this conjecture. The first results is given by Koenig and Merlin. After that, Philippe-Vincent, Dodson, and Sheng prove a particular case of the conjecture. The open problem is still in dimension 3. After that, I will explain this problem, right? So our contribution in this direction is the following. We have that the critical nonlinear Schrödinger equation, the scattering is still open in dimension 3. Our contribution is not exactly the nonlinear Schrödinger equation. We prove scattering for the perturbed nonlinear Schrödinger equation, called the inhomogeneous nonlinear Schrödinger equation. We prove that the solution is scattering or scatters in the energy space in dimension 3 for non-radial initial data for a perturbation of the nonlinear critical Schrödinger equation. Right? So the nonlinear Schrödinger equation was given by for the Erwin Schrödinger was won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1933. The Schrödinger equation has many applications, for example, in quantum mechanics, nonlinear optics, in Webb's propagation. So the Cauchy problem. We have the nonlinear Schrödinger equation. We have the linear equation. We have the nonlinearity. This function involves two variables, the parameter t in x. We have the initial data. When we have this parameter is equal to 2, we obtain the cubic case, which is relevant in applications in dimensions 1, 2, and 3. Right? So we are interested in this opportunity in the energy critical case when this parameter is 4 over n minus 2. This is called the energy critical case. I will explain after that. What does the scattering mean? The scattering means is the following. If you have the solution scatters in some space if we have a function such that this norm goes to 0 when t goes to infinity. This ut phi plus is the solution of the linear problem. In other words, the solution behaves or is approached to the linear solution. We have the general solution and we have the linear solution. When you have that this norm goes to 0, we have that the solution scatters in this space X. In this lecture, we use the energy space, the H1 space. In the same way, we define the scattering for negative times. Right? We explain why the critical case. Right? See, if you have a solution, we define the new solution given by this new expression. This is solution in we have this equality, the quality 1. We have the new solution. We obtain or we have a derivative in L2 norm. If you want that this expression is equal, we have that this number is equal to 0. So if this number is equal to 0, we have a critical overlap index. The critical overlap index depends of the dimension in the alpha. So we have 3 cases using this critical overlap index. We obtain the 2 critical cases when this number is equal to 0 or equivalent, this number is 4 over 1. When we have the critical overlap index is between 0 and 1, we have the L2 supercritical case or H1 subcritical case, or also call it intercritical case. And in this lecture, we are interested in this case when the energy or the number is equal to 1, or the H1 critical case. The conjecture is given by, or is given in this case, the H1 critical case. So this equation has some quantity conserved. For example, the mass is conserved. Also, we have the energy. This conserved quantities is important because the conditions is given by these quantities. Right? So the concept. The concept says the following. If you have the initial data in the energy space, we have in the critical case for n bigger than 3, if you have this condition given by the energy and the norm or the derivative on the initial data in L2, if you have these conditions, we obtain that the solution is global in scattering in this space. With 2 conditions, we have that the global solution scatters in this energy space. Right? So these conditions is given by this function Q that is the ground state of the solution, that is the solution of the elliptic equation. Associated to the nonlinear dispersive equations, for example, in this case, the nonlinear Schrodinger equation, we have the ground state, right? So this is the conjecture. U0 is the general case, radial and non-radial case. So the first results is given by Koenig and Merlin in 26. This is a very nice paper. They prove the following. If you assume the initial data radial in the critical case for dimensions 3, 4, and 5, if you assume these conditions, we have that the global solution is gets in H1, the energy space. They assume radiality in dimensions 3, 4, and 5, right? This is the first result about the concept. This is a very nice paper. The method is known as concentration, compactness, rigidity. After that, there are many papers in different models. For example, KdV, in homogeneous nonlinear equation, Hartree equation. There are many papers that use these methods. Important remark. We have two conditions. This norm is less than this norm. When we have this norm bigger than this norm, we obtain blowups. In other words, we have a optimal condition. When we have less, we obtain scatters. When we have this greater than this norm, we obtain blobs. Right? Some results about the conjecture. Kilip-Bisang in 2010, they extend these results for dimension or for high dimensions in non-radial initial data. It means they remove the radiality and consider for dimensions 5, 6, for all dimensions, right? The another results about the conjecture was given by Benjamin Dodson. He proved that the solution scales in dimension 4 and for general initial data. Right? So what about the 3 dimensions? The last results of this year, Shewon Sheng, they showed global weak solutions. They prove scattering. They only prove global weak solutions. So then the non-radial solutions in dimensions 3 is still open problem. It means in dimensions 3, the conjecture is open. So what can we prove today? So I talk about our contribution in this direction, right? We consider not the nonlinear Schrodinger equation. We consider the inhomogeneous nonlinear Schrodinger equations. This equation can be considered with approximation with the nonlinear Schrodinger equation. When b goes to, or when b is equal to 0, we have the nonlinear Schrodinger equation. In this case, the energy critical case is given when this number is 4 minus 2, 1 over n minus 2. This is the critical case for this new model. We work in this model because in dimension 3, I think it's a very difficult problem for me, right? So the results about this new model I will talk about the scattering results, right? We joined Farah in 2017. We proved scattering for radial initial data in the critical case. These results are given by the intercritical case. After that, in 2022, we joined Murphy, Farah, Cardoso. We remove this condition. We prove scattering for non-radial initial data for the inhomogeneous nonlinear Schrodinger equation in the intercritical case. We assume for proving this, we assume these conditions, the condition 3 and condition 4. It's similar to the previous conditions of the critical case. In these conditions, we have the mass. Look at when the critical Sobolev index is equal to 1, we have the mass. And when we have the critical index Sobolev, we obtain SC is equal to 1, we have, or S, the critical Sobolev index is equal to 0, we have the energy. Right? These conditions, with these conditions, we obtain the scattering solutions in the intercritical case. So the critical case, we have a very nice paper given by Xu Gong Li in 2020. They consider the energy critical case. They consider the inhomogeneous nonlinear or inhomogeneous nonlinear Schrodinger equation. They assume these two conditions. They obtain the scattering, but they assume radiality, right? So the question is, we can remove the radiality assumption. So our contribution is in this direction. We prove a scattering in dimension 3 for the non-radial case. Right? So join Murphy in 2021, we prove this result. We consider the solution or the initial data in the energy critical space. We consider non-radial initial data, and we consider this equation. We consider the parameter B is equal to 1 only for more facility. We consider this equation, and for this equation, assuming these conditions, we obtain global and scatter in the energy critical case, or energy critical energy space. This equation is very important because when we consider this function, we have more, we obtain the scattering because, for example, when x goes to infinity, we obtain, or this nonlinearity goes to 0. In other words, we obtain the linear equation. So the very important fact in the proof is the following: the scattering holds for initial data far from the origin. Right? The homogeneous case, the translation symmetry is stronger, and the non-radial problem is harder. So in this equation, this function is very important to prove the scattering. In the nonlinear Schrodinger equation, we don't have this. In the dimension 3, it's harder now, right? So the natural question is the following: if you have the other values for B in alpha, we consider this equation. We extend the previous results for this general equation, right? Join Xu in the last year, we proved that assuming these conditions, for dimensions 3, 4, and 5, assuming B between these numbers, we obtain that the solution is global, is scattering in H1, in the energy space. Right? The question is, what happens when the dimension is bigger than 6, for example? There exists one result that prove that, right? After that, I will explain that. So, a very important remarks, if you have the opposite, it means if this norm is greater than this norm, we obtain that the solution blows in the H1 space. This is an optimal condition because if you have less, we obtain scattering. When you have this norm is greater than this norm, we obtain blowups. So conclusion about these works. Bon, so the main contribution is that the critical scattering in dimension 3 for non-radial data is proved, but not the exactly nonlinear Schrodinger equation. We prove for the perturber model. It means for the inhomogeneous nonlinear Schrodinger equation. This work was considered a partial answer toward the scattering conjecture. So we also extend for dimensions 3, 4, and 5 with Xu. And very recently, we have this result. Li Shang extend the scattering problem or the scattering result for higher dimensions for n greater than 6 and b between 0 and 2. This is a very nice work, this extend for higher dimensions. After the results that explained before, we explain a new results that apply some ideas for the new models. For example, we replace the Laplacian for B Laplacian. We consider this equation. In this case, when this number is given by a minus 2p over n minus 4, this is a critical energy case. In this case, the subvolume index case is 2. We prove scattering for non-radial initial data for the intercritical case and for the critical case. We have two works about this equation. Another important model is the Hartree equation. We have the nonlinearity. We obtain that for the critical nonlinear Hartree equation, given by this number, p is equal 3 minus 2b minus alpha, this equation, we have that the solution scatters in the energy space and non-radial initial data. The important thing to prove the result is given by this function. If you don't have this function, it's more difficult. For example, when b is equal to 0, the scatter hold 4 dimensions 5, 6, and for non-radial initial data for 3, 4 is still an open problem. It's the same here. When we have the low dimensions for 4 and 5, this or the problem of the scattering is still now, right? When we have the function, this is a very important because we obtain scatterings when x goes to infinity. So I don't prove the conjecture in dimension 3, but I think this model, the approximate or the approximation of the nonlinear Schrodinger equation can be helps to prove the energy critical case in the or the scattering nonlinear Schrodinger equation in dimension 3. It can con this equation we can prove the conjecture in dimension 3, right? So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Carlos Guzman. Any question or commentary, please? Any question or commentary? Carlos, I have a question. One curiosity. Is possible the studying the problem control for your equation?
When you have a control in the nonlinear Schrodinger equation, I think Roberto Capistrano have a work that works in this direction with control. I think it's a very nice problem to include the control. So this conjecture is more easy when we have the focusing case. We explain the focusing case. There are two cases, the focusing case and focusing case. I think the focusing case is more easily to start to study in these models, including the control. Roberto has a very nice paper. They work in dimension 3 for nonlinear defocusing Schrodinger equation. I think that if you put the functions x minus b, you can have very works in the future. Right? I think it's a good direction to study, including the control.
Thank you, Carlos. Other question or commentary?
Hello,
Yes, Yapu.
Professor Carlos. I have a question. If there are results, let's say you can change the initial condition U0, and if there are results of continuity or regularity of U plus of the state in the scattering, if it changes continuously or differentiably with the initial condition, that kind of studies there are?
When you replace the two conditions by one conditions, it means when you have, for example, the derivative of the solutions is less than the ground states in the L2 norm, we obtain also scattering. Right? I will explain with these two conditions because it's more simple, I think. But the last work with Xu, I have we consider the condition when we consider the U or the derivative of the solution in L2 norm in a maximum or in an interval, right? It means we change the two conditions by one conditions. In other words, we have the condition that not use the conserved quantities. But in our work with Xu, we consider this weak condition, right?
Yes. My question was about the U plus, the state in the scattering definition of scattering. There is a UT and U plus, the state, the linear direction. There is some results saying that U plus varies continuously with respect to U0. You know about that?
I don't know. But I think that Lucas Campos, Murphy works in this direction, but I don't know. I think they have two works in this direction that you ask me, but I am studying. I don't about it. But I think for the nonlinear Schrodinger equation, there are many works that consider this condition, this new approach that you say. But in the homogeneous nonlinear Schrodinger equation, I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Other question or commentary? Well, if no more question, thank you very much, Professor Carlos Duman, for your excellent talk.